I enjoy coming to work every day knowing that clients are depending on me to guide them through whatever financial needs they have.
Every client we have is different. And so it's really about finding out what's really the most important thing per client.
With financial planning, everything is interconnected. So a comprehensive plan means that you're taking care of income needs now, income needs in the intermediate term, and income needs long term. We'll do an asset cycle portfolio. We'll do a risk-alize test. We'll do a life insurance audit or a life insurance review.
And so when we build a deep relationship with our clients, then we can take a step back and then we can look at different options to help them specifically get to their goals. One of the things I feel our job is as advisors is to introduce strategies to clients that maybe they did not know that they were out there. But it's our idea, our job to come out and say, have you ever thought about this?
And the planning it's not always about income, but a lot of it is also about the legacy. So the element of family is very important to us, and it's important to our clients.
Good show today, and we're going to get kind of specific as we talk about one product that we use commonly to help people with guarantees. And before we get into it, Jeff?
Well, hello, Steve. Welcome to the show. It's good to be here. And today we're going to talk about annuities, one of my favorite topics because it's such an important part of our practice. So today we're going to take a deep dive into, well, I guess not so deep. It's Annuities 101. Maybe the deeper dive will be next time when we get into the 200 series. But before we start, I just want to say that as we record this show here on PCTV in fall of 2023, the thought occurred to me as I was preparing for this show. This is our 10-year anniversary. I think we did our first show in October of 2013. So it's really hard to believe that we've been at this for 10 years. And of course, when we first did the show, we were across town. We were doing them in the studio in Pottstown High School, and of course now we do them here in our office, which is high atop the Security Trust building on the corner of High and Hanover Street in downtown Pottstown. But with that being said, Steve, let's take it away.
Okay, we'll take it away. And so when we look at broadly, we look at three types of annuities. So we have the fixed, the indexed, the variable. You'll get into a little bit deeper in that, but maybe give us a little background of annuities, why they came about.
So annuities are insurance products. So they're underwritten and carried by an insurance company. So we're going to talk about the different types of annuities, but the other important aspect of this is you want to pick a good insurance company. You want to pick a highly rated company. You want to pick a company that has been at it for a long time and they know how to price the product, but they also have good reserves and good independent ratings, and a lot of that is important in selecting an annuity.
And when you look at the financial services industry, a lot of times annuities get a bad rap. And why is that?
Why do annuities get a bad rap? I think they get a bad rap because, for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think they're misunderstood. I think that consumers don't necessarily understand them, and they get a lot of bad mainstream press. Because I think the mainstream press, to a certain degree, doesn't understand annuities either. But I think the other reason is, a lot of it is the fault of, the people selling them, the advisors or the representatives of the insurance company. And I think, if they're oversold, there can be some problems, particularly with annuities. You generally have some type of time commitment you're making to the insurance company when you buy an annuity. It's called a surrender period. So you buy an annuity, it might have a 5-year surrender period, or a 7-year surrender period, or even a 10-year surrender period, or longer. And what that means is you're committing that money to the insurance company for that period of time, and you can get at it through various means, whether it's a free withdrawal, or whether it's invoking a rider, or whether it's a required minimum distribution. But there's ways you can get at it, but the full amount is committed to the insurance company for the surrender period. So I think that's a couple of the reasons why they get a bad rap. But I know in our practice, we make annuities part of an overall plan.
And when I look back at my career, 25 plus years, most of the time I've been independent. I didn't start that way, and I think it's important for the consumer to see, there's some advisors, that's all they can sell are annuities. So kind of whether you need it or not.
Yeah, well, that is true, and I think that we should probably talk a little bit about our role here as independent financial advisors, and also our fiduciary responsibility, or our fiduciary capacity, and that is that we're always acting in the best interest of our clients. So if we're putting an annuity into a financial plan, we're doing it in our client's best interest. So I think that is an important distinction, and you are right. There are certain agents, if you will, that work for insurance companies, and they don't even have the proper licensing to do the other types of things that we do, such as selling securities. So they're selling annuity products because that's pretty much all they can do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So why don't we get into it, and we'll start with probably the most basic one, the fixed.
Yeah, so a fixed rate annuity is an annuity that has an interest rate that is tied to the annuity product. So and a lot of times we'll call it a multi-year guaranteed annuity, or MIGA. And with a multi-year guaranteed annuity, we have a fixed rate for a period of time. And by the way, Steve, I should mention that right now, the multi-year guaranteed annuities are very popular because we've seen interest rates go up pretty significantly in the last year and a half. And what that's done is it's made these multi-year guaranteed annuities, or these fixed annuities, pretty popular, pretty competitive, and a lot of times you can get rates that are higher than what you can even get at a bank in a CD. So they're pretty popular. I know even in our practice we've used fixed annuities quite a bit, more so than we were doing previously when interest rates are so low. But with the fixed rate, again, you're committing the dollars to the insurance company for a period of time. Like, you can get a multi-year guaranteed annuity, let's say for 5 years. You can even get it for 3 years. But so somebody might ask, well, why would you get a 5-year if you can get a 3-year? And the difference is that you can generally get a higher rate of interest if you're purchasing a longer rate guarantee. So, I mean, that kind of makes sense. And the bank world works the same way. If you're going to purchase a long CD, a longer term CD rather than a shorter term CD, you're going to get a higher rate of interest. Same thing happens with a bond, right? If you're buying a long-term bond, unless you have a inverted yield curve, but we're not going to get into that today. But let's just say that you're comparing a 5-year multi-year guarantee annuity, fixed rate annuity, to a 3-year. Mm-hmm. The 5-year is generally going to pay a little bit higher interest rate, simply because your money is tied up and invested for a longer period of time with the insurance company. And I also want to mention to our viewers today that if you want information on any of these topics that we're talking about today, any of these products, anything specific, just reach out to our office. You can give us a call or send us an email. We'll put that information up on the screen, and we can get you more information about any type of annuity that we talk about today. With fixed rate annuities in particular, the rates constantly change. So we see rates today that might not be, because I don't even want to quote a rate as we're recording this show here today, because the rate that I quote today, might be quickly outdated, right? So in another week or 2 weeks, it could be very different. So we are constantly monitoring that because we do want to make sure we're putting our clients in the best rate, the best company, with the best product.
And Jeff, on a fixed annuity, who backs the money? Who's on the hook for the money? So,
The insurance company.
insurance company.
Yeah, so it's with any annuity, it's the insurance company. So that's why when we're acting in that fiduciary capacity. So we're not only trying to find the best rate for our clients, we're also trying to find good companies, highly rated companies. And we have relationships with dozens of different insurance companies. So we just go and look and see which companies are going to offer the best rate, and we make sure that these companies are reputable companies, and they have high insurance company ratings.
Okay, let's move on to the next one, fixed indexed annuities.
Okay. So a fixed index annuity is working a little bit different than the fixed rate annuity. It's still considered a fixed annuity, but the difference here is from a fixed interest rate annuity is that an index annuity performance is tied to an underlying index. So, for example, the S&P 500 index. So we take the S&P 500 index, and that's used as a barometer or a gauge on how the crediting is done to an index annuity.
Okay. And are there, let's get in just a little bit, like participation rates or caps, or how does that work with that?
Yeah, so there's different crediting methods. So we can do them with a cap. So the way a cap works is you're going to get whatever the S&P 500 index does to a certain cap. So let's just use an example. Let's say that on your index annuity you have a cap of 7%. And the S&P 500 index does 15%. You're going to get 7. Mm-hmm. You're going to cap out at 7. You'll never get more than 7%, regardless of what the underlying index does. Now, conversely, and here's the sizzle on the index annuity, Steve, and I know this is why you asked me this question, but when the stock market goes down, like let's say the way it did in 2022, the stock market goes down, with an index annuity, you're not going to lose money. And that's really the reason, one of the main reasons why a consumer would buy an index annuity, because they know that their principal is protected. So using this same example with a cap, if the stock market does, let's say the stock market does minus 15, which was close to what it did last year. I think the S&P was down like 18%, something like that. But if you're in a index annuity with a cap that's tied to the S&P 500, and the S&P 500 goes down 15%, you're going to not lose money. You're going to stay the same. You're going to be at zero.
They only participate in up markets.
Yeah, correct. So in that case, zero is your hero, right? Zero is your hero.
And also, too, with the fixed annuity and the fixed indexed annuity, normally there's no cost to the consumer.
Yeah, that is true. And I'll get to that. Okay. But let me also go down to your original question of the types of crediting, and we have the participation rate, or the caps rather, we talked about. Now let me talk about participation rates. So with a participation rate, so there's a participation rate says whatever the index does, you're going to get a percentage of that gain. So let's say you have a participation rate. Let's say you have a participation rate of 50%, 50%. and again, the market goes up by 15%, how much are you going to get? You're going to get 50% of the total index. So the index went up 15, you're going to get 7.5. Now, when you compare that to the first example where you had a cap, the cap was 7, right?
Yep.
So if the cap was 7%, and if you compare that to a participation rate with 15%, you did a little bit better. You got 7.5 versus 7% that you're going to get if you did it with the cap. These, I will say that, and we've been using index annuities as part of our plan for the last 20 years or so, 20 plus years. They are a little bit complicated. So we're gonna do our best to break it down in our show here today. But if you need more information or you have questions, feel free to reach out to us at the numbers that or the email and the numbers that we put up on the screen. So that's participation rate. Now there's another way that you can do this with an index annuity, Steve, and that is with a spread. A spread. Now, what is a spread? Now, that's not what you put on your toast in the morning when you have your breakfast. The spread is the difference between what the index does and what you get. So let's go back to the same example where the stock market, defined by the S&P 500 index, goes up by 15%. And let's say that you have a 4% spread on your index annuity, okay? So you're going to get everything that the index gets minus the spread. So if the stock market does 15% and there's a spread of 4, you're going to get 11. 15 minus 4, you're going to get 11%. So in that example, you're going to get, that's better than the other two examples that we gave, the cap,
Yep.
and also the participation rate. So we have all these different ways to price and to select options on having your index annuity. And we haven't even gotten into the different types of index, because we just said S&P 500 index. There's a lot of other index features out there too. We have the Russell 2000 index. We have various bond index strategies. We've got Barclays balanced indexes. So
Yep.
There's a lot of different index choices, and it depends on the different company that you choose, the different products. So there's really a lot. Now, I want to get back to a question that you asked me earlier and I didn't answer, and that is fees. So generally speaking, with an index annuity, there are no fees. There are no fees. Now, with that being said, if you have an income benefit or an income rider, and I think you're going to ask me some questions about that if we have time here this morning, there's going to be a charge to have an income rider on your annuity because the insurance company is guaranteeing that. So you just have to be aware of whether that's a valuable benefit and if that's something that you want to purchase. There's also so I talked about the spread, so you're not really paying a fee per se, but you are getting a spread. So you're not getting the entire index, so there is a spread. So that's technically not a fee, but it's a spread, okay, on an index annuity.
Yep. So let's take it to the next level. Jeff, why don't we talk a little bit about the variable annuity side?
Okay, so variable annuities are a somewhat different animal than an index annuity or a fixed rate annuity in that there's underlying sub-accounts that are tied to some type of market-driven investment. Okay, so a good analogy would be a mutual fund. So I want to be clear that they're not mutual funds, but there are a lot of similarities that in a variable annuity, and they're called sub-accounts. So you can have different types of sub-accounts inside of a variable annuity. So you might have one sub-account that's tied to large cap stocks. You might have another sub-account that's tied to small cap stocks. You can have value versus growth. You can have a mixture of stocks and bonds. So there's a lot of different choices inside the variable annuity, and different fund managers. So like you can pick an insurance, and these are all, again, it's an insurance company, so it's an insurance product, and they're going out and they're getting money managers. So they're getting money managers that are managing the portfolio. So it's very similar to having a stock account, or I should say a managed account, in that you have stock investments, you can have bond investments inside the variable annuity. So there's some key differences though. One key difference is that this is tax deferred. So if you have money that's, let's say that it's not an IRA account, you just have money that was in a bank account and now you want to invest it in a variable annuity. The first thing you're going to get is tax deferral. Okay, so you're going to get tax deferral on any growth inside the variable annuity. That's number one. Number two, you're going to get market-driven results. So you're going to get whatever that underlying investment gets, that underlying sub-account or sub-accounts. So it's going to perform much like a stock would perform, or much like a bond would perform, only it's inside of a variable annuity. Now, when you talk about fees, so now the fee discussion is much different inside of a variable annuity than it is inside of a fixed annuity. So let's talk about that. Typically, the variable annuity company, their insurance company, will charge a mortality and expense charge, or what we call M&E. So there's going to be a charge that you're going to pay as a consumer owning a variable annuity, and that's really the insurance company's charge to hold that variable annuity. Okay, so that's M&E. You're also going to pay a sub-account fee for the investment. So if you're in, let's say you're in a large cap growth stock, managed by ABC Company. ABC Company is going to charge a fee, a management fee, for managing that asset. So you're going to pay that too. Yeah. So you have to be, one thing with a variable annuity, you just have to be aware of the underlying expenses. And the other thing that you could have on top of any annuity is an income rider. So with an income rider, what is an income rider? An income rider is a rider on top of an annuity that is going to guarantee your payments for life, generally. It's a lifetime payout. It could be your life, it could be the life of you and your spouse, but it's lifetime income. So with lifetime income, the insurance company is providing you with a guarantee. So in exchange for that guarantee, they're going to charge you a fee. Okay, so that's just, a lot of times that's important because we have clients that need income that has to be guaranteed in their retirement. Could be, they're retired, they're getting Social Security, they might be getting a small pension, but they need additional money and they need it guaranteed, and it helps them manage other risk inside their portfolio. So they need, through a series of evaluations that we do, we've determined that an income rider is appropriate. So so now we have to look and see, there's a lot of different companies out there, and we represent, a couple dozen different companies for variable annuities, and we've got to make sure we find the one that's going to be the right fit for the client. And if there's an income rider, we've got to select the proper income rider for the client as well.
And one important thing, and I think you did mention this, but the fee that they charge is like an insurance. So when you could use up all your money that the insurance company you flip over to their money.
Yeah, well, that's the whole reason why they're charging you the fee, because they're ensuring that you won't run out of money. So if you're getting guarantees, you're getting payments, your investment may run out of money. You may have no money left, but then you're also going to have your income guaranteed. So that's important with a variable annuity. But there's other features with a variable annuity that I think they're worth mentioning here, and that is like death benefits. So with an annuity, any annuity, you're naming a beneficiary, and I don't know if I'm getting ahead. Were you going to ask me about beneficiaries?
You're good.
Okay. So with beneficiaries, they are the people that are going. Those are your loved ones, right? That's your family. It's your spouse, your children, your grandchildren. They're the ones that are going to get the benefit of the annuity when you die. That's called a death benefit. So there's death benefit riders too that you can put on top of an annuity that give you certain types of guarantees with a death benefit. So there's a lot of features. And again, these are somewhat complex products. So, if you have questions about annuities, please give us a call. We always offer a free consultation to anybody who watches our show, Steve, and wants to sit down with us and talk about whatever topic we're talking about. So, variable annuities, fixed annuities, fixed index annuities, please call our office.
And why don't we talk about our retirement design lab? Maybe a little bit about that.
Yeah, so this is our road show. So we take the show on the road. So we've been going around to various locations with where we operate. So we're going to put the upcoming events up on the screen. But Retirement Design Lab, or what we call RDL, the Retirement Design Lab is really a 3-part program. So we have 2 nights that we do in a classroom setting, and then the 3rd night is what we call office hours, and we do that 3rd meeting in our office where we talk specifically about the individual's needs. So actually, I'll turn that back to you because you're really the one that's you've been really instrumental in getting this program off the ground. So tell us what you talk about the first night, and tell us what you talk about the second night.
The three sessions are quite different, and the first one is really building your dreams and what's important to you, and maybe a little bit your bucket list, and we go over how retirement's changed over the years. And then the second night we have is more of the rules and the tools, and we finish up with pretty extensive case analysis and get into a lot of different things as far as investing and risk and gifting and charitable giving. And then the third one is really one-on-one, and first we answer questions from the first 2 sessions. Then we take a look at what does their plan look like. And some people at that point still don't have a plan, and we can help with that. And some people want to just they need help side by side building a plan. And then there's the third type of people that have a pretty extensive plan, and we just kind of give it a stamp of approval. So, yep.
Yeah, I think the other comment I'll make here, Steve, is that once you've gone through the program, then you have a really very, very good background about the decisions that you're making in retirement. And I think too, if you're a married couple, it helps facilitate the conversation between the husband and wife, because they can start talking about common goals and things they want to achieve in retirement. So very
Yes.
good. Yeah, well, Steve, I can't believe time flies when you're having fun. We're here talking about annuities. We're talking about the Retirement Design Lab. We're talking about, all the things that we do in our practice. So with all that being said, we're going to put a wrap on our show here today, Annuities 101. Maybe we'll come back next time and do Annuities 201, and we'll dig a little deeper into some of these things that we didn't have a chance to talk about today. So with all that being said, this is Financially Speaking.